Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a very interesting episode of The Breakdown. Today we're going to be looking at Denis Cyplenkov and Vitaly Laletin of Russia. They have had an opportunity to grip up with each other on the practice table, and that's always an interesting thing. I mean, Denis Cyplenkov, if you don't know who he is an absolute legend of the sport. He is someone who has dominated through... Sorry, as I get rid of this moth. Someone who has dominated through the era of John Brzenk. He was the main rival of John Brzenk in the younger years of John, and he has been, in his own right, one of the legends of the sport. He's considered the best left hand of all time, he's always in the debate for the greatest of all time in terms of the highest peak there has been in the sport. So Denis Cyplenkov been out of action for some time due to illness. 2018, I think he started to become ill, some kidney issues. Anyway, Denis, I'm always talking about Devin. Denis, there's been whispers of a comeback. There's been whispers that he's thinking about making a move again. And to be honest, I'm not sure if he can. I'm not sure if he can make it. His health issues have been obviously a big problem. He looks a shadow of himself, generally speaking. But he's Denis Cyplenkov at the end of the day. The potential is always in him. So, of course, now Vitaly Laletin, widely considered number 2 in the world by the majority of arm wrestling experts. Finished second to Levan Saganishvili in 2019, top 8. Is looking in immense form. He's clearly chasing the number 1 rank in the world. So that's the context on him. So anyway, let's now take a look at the footage because that's what we're all here for. Denis Cyplenkov, Vitaly Laletin, and I'll break it down for you. Alright, you got Denis Cyplenkov on the left of the screen. You can see just the height of him straight away. He's nowhere near the size of Vitaly Laletin. Vitaly Laletin's some 6'7", 6'8", something like that tall. But you can see the thickness of the hands of Denis Cyplenkov. Now, Cyplenkov engages with a dragging, almost king's move initiation. The dragging, the wrist kicking back. Vitaly Laletin allowing Denis to initiate. You can see that Vitaly Laletin largely just playing with the hand and wrist there. He could pin with significant side pressure quite comfortably. You can see he's easily in control of the hand and wrist of Denis. Denis would be forced to either be pinned right now or enter a full-blown king's move going below the table, everything to potentially get us. I don't know if the stop is there, but you can see Vitaly Laletin currently just allowing this to be a training value. There's no point in pinning Denis. You can see he's demonstrated that he could have a number of times. He's now using a difficult angle, is Vitaly Laletin, rather than use the angle that's the most efficient. He's just rising and cupping and burning out his own hand. But Denis Cyplenkov, like I said, initiating with a dragging king's move initiation. We know Denis has a king's move up his sleeve, and that's all he feels he's got against Vitaly. So this time, Denis starting with a bit more wrist flexion involved, but you can see that Vitaly can drag him back to his side of the table, can comfortably rock over sideways, and Vitaly's pronation looks good, opens up the hand. So each one of those surges could have been pins. The reality is they all could have been pins. They're no dramas at all. But once again, Vitaly Laletin allowing Denis to work, allowing Denis into the space. Vitaly Laletin still able to rock it over if he chooses to. But once again, he's now letting more rope out. And he lets enough rope out that it becomes too difficult for him to come back. Denis Cyplenkov now in a good position to burn him out from there. But make no mistake about it, ladies and gentlemen. Vitaly Laletin in complete and utter control of Denis Cyplenkov. And it's as to be expected. I mean, that's fair. Denis Cyplenkov's been out for a long time. He hasn't competed seriously since the 2018 match on the left arm against Devin Larratt. It's been a long time. It's been a very long time for Denis Cyplenkov. We'd love him to be back. I don't know if his body will allow it. He's pushed his body hard through the years. And the reality is that I just don't know that he can. Vitaly Laletin, who's someone potentially number 1 in the world, at least number 2, at worst number 3 in the world. Vitaly Laletin, you can see, letting out a lot of rope and yet still able to just rock over and do his thing. And who knows where the training cycles are right now. I suspect Denis Cyplenkov was relatively fresh on this. I don't think Denis has been training as actively as Vitaly has. Vitaly much more active, probably mid-routine. So I think a peaked Vitaly Laletin, if this was a match, it would be a very, very dominant one-sided performance. Vitaly Laletin would clearly take the win. Yeah, sorry, but I don't have much hope in the return of Denis. I'd love to see him back, but I just don't think it's possible. His body, it's been pushed too hard for too long, and I don't think he can get back to that same height of performance that he was at. Anyway, that's how I see it. Let me know how you see it in the comments below. Please leave us a like, hit the share button, and the subscribe button, most importantly, if you haven't done it already. That'd mean the world to me. We're almost at 50,000 subs, so really looking forward to that. Yeah, alright guys, take care.
Yes, that's a man!